Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Tuesday, the 20th of June, 2017. How is everybody doing? That's right, family. You are in the midst of your work week, and I hope that you are well. Staying positive by grounding your feet, placing God first in everything you do. But I would be remiss not to put this out because I know some of you have requested it, and I want to be punctual. As always, these videos are for you. Like, share. If you got a question or you just want validation of where you are and you just need just blind advice in regards to maybe what you're going through, a second opinion, feel free to drop me a line. I'll try to respond back as quick as it can. But as you already know, you have the responsibility of living your life. And with that, it is very important that you love yourself more. What you already know, God gave you the two spiritual gifts the moment that you took your first breath, the moment that that spiritual seal was placed over your life. And in the intended time and moment, your purpose will be revealed by way of your direction of His will. Why? Because we're spiritual beings first, family. That's why you're feeling what you're feeling. That's why there may be some of you may be in flux, while others may be in a position of impulsiveness. That's okay. Just make sure that you stay grounded. Make sure that you stay true to you and always place God first in all that you do. Because you now a couple of days from summer 2017. Can you believe it, family? We are nothing but a stone's throw to another season. And as you already know, as it is quartered by 4 months, now is the time that some will be planting seeds while others will have the revelation of their harvest. That's right. Works that have already been done. How about those things that you may have not thought about through your mouth, but it crossed your mind? We're talking about manifestation because all things come in its intended time. That is why it's so important, family, to take the stopwatch out your life. That's why I tell each and every one of you, don't worry about those people that are not in your circle or those who may have had access in your life. Don't worry, because if the works have been done, you're going to see them again. That's right. Because unfortunately, this world is not fair. It isn't, because the devil's work is always done because he's a lion in the brush. But more importantly, he already knows your story. Did you hear me? He knew your story the moment you took your first breath. It was already revealed. So guess what? He's got his minions and him, those demons. How about that Jezebel spirit that is there waiting to sidetrack you, to knock you on your butt, to put that fear in your life, to keep you stagnant? But we already know a life that is stagnant becomes toxic. And anything that has toxin always breeds death. That's not your story. You got a whole lot of life to live. But I know there may be some of you right now, you're saying, well, Gerald, that's all said and done because you always try to be positive. You always try to be optimistic. You want to be Mr. Chipper all the time. But right now, the reality is, I don't know where I'm going to live tomorrow. The reality is, the relationship I had yesterday has fallen apart. Don't you realize as much as you breathe in, there's opportunity for change? That is why I've always echoed to the intended heart and the intended mind. The moment that you make a decision to claim you, to love you, to ground your feet. Your viewpoint will change. Did you hear what I said? The moment you change your viewpoint, it is the validation of your mindset. So we can always say this too. A physical form or example of your viewpoint is the people that you have access into your life, because shouldn't they have your best interest at all times? Shouldn't they be a reflection of what you think? Because nothing just happens by chance. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there say, well, you know, Gerald, that's what fate's all about. No, you're a spiritual being first, family. Don't get it twisted. They want you to dumb down so that they can feel normal. And then you have those that go under the label of opportunists that will do nothing but make an agenda to hold you back. But we already know this. That first gift is called free will, the right to choose. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I be still? Should I go forward? Or should I reflect? Hold on. You all right? You okay? You want some water? Hold on, family. Tyson's gagging back here. I'm gonna make sure he got some water. And all right, y'all. Thank you. He's all right. He just likes to be a ham sometimes. But as I was saying before, summertime's here. It is here, not in a couple months, not next year. You are entering your summer. So for some of you, you may have been thinking within yourself, okay, now's the time that I'm going to actually put some application in some of those thoughts. Now this is the time that I'm going to actually embrace who I am and allow my strength to be seen. How about your voice? Some of y'all, for the first time, are going to hear the real you, and you're not going to feel insecure. But that does not give you a pass to be disrespectful or a far cry for attention. Who am I talking to? Because I ain't got to remind you. All you got to do is step outside your door, and you can see there are ample multitudes of people that are broken. Let me tell you something. You don't have to be broken if you choose to acknowledge what is broken. Who am I talking to? I mean, let's keep it 100. Some of y'all are terrified that you're going to live a life alone. So you use a defensive mechanism to act like you don't need anybody. You know you're doing yourself a disservice. You know you're blocking your blessing. Because let me tell you this, the person that is destined to have those spiritual keys that will unlock the other side of your life, because you still got a whole lot of work that has to come to pass. It depends on if you're going to position yourself to do it. What about making a concession that, hey, you deserve to be loved? You deserve to feel emotionally safe. You realize how many people are walking around on this planet that suffer from depression, and those who have depression or depressive thoughts use impulsive decision making to camouflage what's really going on, but you see it. You see it. How many times have you actually put your emotions on the shelf just to say, hey, you okay? And they turn around and dumb it down. That's the person that needs it the most. The person that wants to act bulletproof. But what's sad is you have a daily dosage of agenda, propaganda to remind you not to reach for your dreams, not to tap into that greatness. I remember back in the 90s, well, in the early 70s when I was young, and the United Negro College Fund every Saturday, it would always air right around when they had Soul Train on, and when all the commercial advertisers would push products for the demographic, you would always see this commercial, and it started off back in the 1800s, and all you would hear was a wagon wheel. You would hear the wagon wheel as it's going down this road. You hear the muck and the mud, and then they would pan the shot, and you would see the back end of two horses. No, I think they were mules. And the cart is going, and you're seeing the wagon wheel, and then all of a sudden the shot shifts, and you see slaves, and you hear this very stoic voice come over the top saying, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Well, it's 2017, and it's very obvious that there are those that do not want you to use that beautiful mind. You only use 6%. Some only choose to use 1%, because the 5% is hidden behind a wall of fear, a wall of pain, a wall made of non-clarity. Who's keeping you from you? Who told you you're not worthy to be loved, respected, treasured, admired? These are all labels that should be instilled in your life, because you can't be respected with this, family. It comes from within yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that message, and they're thinking that all they're good for is this. But we all age. But still, that little girl and that little boy that used to swing on the swing set and had the scraped knees, the little boy and little girl that had eyes as big as diamonds and endless possibilities, still lives in you. So if anything, doesn't that person deserve the right to be seen in this world? Because unfortunately, there are people that look just like you that don't want you to see the person you are. Who am I talking to? So it's 2017, summertime. The sun's gonna be out, it's gonna be hot, and yeah, the mosquitoes gonna be out there waiting on you. But you know what else is gonna be out there? A whole lot of problems. A whole lot of people that don't want you to come into your greatness. But it cannot happen until you make a decision to plant that seed first. That's what manifestation is all about, family. That's why you've heard people mention through the eons, you can be anything you want to be. But what's required is you claim it. Because if you don't believe it, why do you expect your environment to respond to it? That's why you always hear people say birds of a feather flock together. But what is a flock without a direction? They always fly into their destruction. And you know what's sad? They're never there to pick you up when you fall. They're never there to give that helping hand. They're never there to tell you how special you are. But you know what's really tragic about that? Because I know there's some of you right now hearing my voice. You've been through a lot, haven't you? Some of you have actually seen death's door right there in front of you. But because God loves you so much, He protected you. You do understand we have angels here, right? We have angels to protect your purpose. Therefore, there's demons that have to work overtime. Because if the demons don't work, they get fired. Literally. But I know there might be some of you right now be thinking, Gerald, that's fine. I hear what you're saying, but the reality is my life is terrible. Well, let's go back, shall we? If your life is so terrible, why are you able to hear my voice now? Because you didn't have to wake up. No one has a guarantee that your heart is going to continue to beat through the night. Your lungs are going to continue to circulate that precious air. How about allow that mind to create? So, if anything, if you've got fear up in here, don't worry about your dreams because you're holding yourself hostage. It might be something as, well, Gerald, I'm ready to fly, but I'm obligated to my partner, or I may have taken someone's last name, but really it feels like they have taken my life. Let me ask you something. Do you actually believe that God brought you on this planet to play the victim? To be the doormat? To play the martyr? Some of y'all will finally open your eyes and have to love yourself more, or even love them at a distance. But just know this: where God is not, your life should not be. Because God wants you to be the best you. But unless you get out of your way, this summer is going to be like last summer. Who am I talking to? You went through a lot last year, didn't you? But yet you still don't give credit to where you are now. Let me make this more clear. Because some of y'all won't get it, and some of y'all feel that this is too painful. Why don't you cry? Don't you know that your tears are precious and that cleanses the soul? It is also one of the most clear, concise ways to connect to him. Well, how's that? If I'm crying, how am I going to connect it to God? Because he knows that you ain't playing, because you feel it. And keep this in mind. He created you. It's not his responsibility to bail you out. It's your responsibility to define what it's all about. So let's look at this from another perspective. You still believe that your life don't mean anything? What about your unborn? Because I know somebody needs to hear that, because in one breath you're talking about you want to be a parent one day because the way you were reared, you don't want to repeat the cycle. You know that ain't nothing but generational curses. And you know who's in charge of generational curses? That Jezebel spirit. Oh yes. She likes for you to disrespect yourself. She loves the fact that you put yourself in harm's way. She's the reason why you dress provocative. And she's the reason why they don't respect you. Because let me let you know this too, queens, because you know I love you. Any man that will stand upon you, two things will cross his mind. Number one, has this woman and earned the right to have my last name? And that's very heavy, because yes, you can marry anybody you choose. But if he loves himself, if he has a relationship with God, because that's a big one. And I mention this all the time. If you don't have a relationship with God, you don't have a relationship with yourself. That's where that neediness comes in to play when people are in relationships. But guess what? If they don't have a relationship with God, they won't have a relationship with you. So how can they protect what's most sacred? Shouldn't that be you? And you can't build on something where God has not blessed. That's why he said to man, don't try to yoke with the unyoked. But as long as you listen to that devil in your life, he's going to try to bring everything just to undermine you. I know them. Some people may know that as backsliding. There may have been some things that elevated the best qualities of you, and somehow in a blink of an eye, you're not focusing on it. You know those things, those hobbies. Your hobbies are your natural spiritual gifts. You didn't just wake up one day and somebody showed you. You woke up one day and it was given. Who do you think gave you that? It was already planted inside you. Your talents are going to be the tools needed to navigate your life. Whatever that is, only you know. Why? Because it is the purest form of what love is. It is passion. And what is passion? Passion is energy that will be given for free. But not everybody's supposed to see it. Supposed to earn the right to hear you breathe. Not everybody's going to know your story. And not everybody's going to earn the right to walk with you. So that's what life is about. So that's why your discernment is ever so important. But you can't have your discernment unless you love you first, because it comes from you. You're the diamond. Think of it. Look at a diamond and look how it starts. It is embedded deep. But it is the process that's required for a man to be able to see its first luster. You don't just go into the soil and bam, voila. It's the rough edges that have to be broken off. And it's the application of bringing out the best you. That's growth. That's time invested. And that's pure. So why are you dumbing down? Why are you not defining who you are? Do you know who you are? Because if you knew who you were, you will be loving yourself like any other. It's not their permission. It's not their position, to love you. It's your responsibility. So they define it. They are the living representation of your mind. So if you may be thinking, I'm going crazy. Nah, it's your environment that's out of tune. So are you going to let summer be your breakthrough year? This might be the year where you finally have to lift your head, go within yourself, and have to say goodbye. Who am I talking to? They didn't show you who you are, who they are. That's who they are. The responsibility is, are you going to accept it? And see, that's where it gets contradictory, because a lot of people want to leave that door open. A lot of people want to give that hope, hoping that that person will show them something. And it ends up doing what? Robbing you of your vitality, interfering from your progression. And let me make this clear, because I know that right now there's a lot of beautiful women out there that have been falling for the hype of, well, it's about me and I got to be equal like him. Well, let me explain something to you. God created you as he needed you. Otherwise, he would have created you like him. So don't fall for that, because those same people that are promoting, yes, we're equal, they're broken. They're confused, and they refuse to love themselves. Therefore, they can't speak their truth. And that's why they're acting up. That's not your story. It never was. That is like you putting on someone else's shoes and expecting it to be comfortable. It's not your life. Sure, there'll be commonalities that we all can learn from. Walk those shoes. But your greatest wisdom and insight happens indirectly, giving you an opportunity to learn. But the devil won't. His end goal is to end your life. Why? Because he knows the person that you're destined to be, he can't afford that person to come to pass. Because that person is going to have an influence on the people that are going to walk behind them. You ever thought about that? So why are you beating your head up? Why are you disrespecting yourself? Why are you using escapism or escape tactics such as, can't make it through the day, so I got to be high. I got to go into risk taking and play choosy lover. They don't even know your middle name, but you're sharing your DNA about your time, only to feel the effects when the illusion fails. And because it's going to fade, it's not blessed. So they're robbing you of you. And you're wondering why you feel bitter. You know why you feel bitter? Because you still have a whole lot of trapped love, trapped emotions, and you need clarity on it. Why don't you have that conversation with yourself? How do you think self-inventory happens? What I'm describing is intimacy. Into me, I see. Why won't you look inside you? Because until you decide to look inside you, you'll never be able to see where you're going. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me. I told y'all 4 years ago, Queens, stop playing these hopscotch games. Because now you're looking a little tired here. You're looking weary. Plastic surgeons can't hide or fix what's inside your soul. That's for you. When you're ready to stop playing, it's time to go within. Be blessed.